Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be using a tier list to rank every single Spider-Man video game that I have played. Cause why not? Yeah, I mean I did do a video like this like 3 years ago, but that was like 3 years ago, and throughout the whole video I was literally complaining about not having a PlayStation and not getting to play any of the Insomniac Spider-Man games. But now I have a PlayStation 5 and I've gotten to experience all 3 of the Insomniac Spider-Man games, and now I can include them on the list. So let's just do this again, and just be aware, some of these games that I've played are just games that I've like briefly played, so I've maybe beaten like maybe 1 or 2 missions here and there, but like just games that I've like played briefly and beaten a few missions, and that's it. So just be aware that some of these games I've played but very briefly, so I just want you to know that. But yeah, let's just get started with this tier list, starting off with Spider-Man 2000, which is what most people call it, and I think it's fair to say that this is, well, besides maybe the Atari Spider-Man game and some other Spider-Man games, this is like the first really big Spider-Man game ever, I think. I didn't get to really fully experience it. I got to beat maybe like 2 or 3 missions, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, for its time, 2000, you know, I wasn't even fucking born back then, but for its time, it seemed like a pretty simple, fun game. The web swinging and fighting bad guys was very simple, but really fun, and if I got to experience this game back in 2000, I probably would have played the shit out of it. I would have loved the hell out of it. I think I would have really enjoyed it. It would have been really cool. So, I mean, I'll give them credit. For its time, 2000, I think it's like a simple, fun game, and it's not bad. I think it's pretty enjoyable. So, I'll put an A. It seemed pretty simple, pretty fun, and for its time, I mean, it's pretty impressive. So, I'll put an A. It seems like a reasonable spot to put it. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man the movie game, which is based off Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man movie coming out back in 2002, and I really wanted to play this game for so many fucking years. I remember seeing gameplay for the game, I saw the web swinging and all that, I was like, this shit looks amazing, I want to fucking play it right now, but for many years I never really got to play it, and then I finally, like a couple years ago, I finally got to briefly play it, and it's a decent game. It seemed like a pretty decent game. I mean, yeah, the web swinging is a bit slow and whatever, it's you know, the web swinging's kind of whatever, but like, it still looks kind of cool, and you don't get to touch the ground at all. You can only like swing around and jump on the top of buildings and stuff, so you can never touch the ground, which is not really much of not much of an improvement compared to like the first 2000 Spider-Man game, where in that game you could also not touch the ground. But overall, it's a decent game. I got to play as the Human Spider, and then got to be in the red and blue suit taking photos, but I never really got to fight the Green Goblin or any of that, so I never got to fully experience the game. But for what I saw, it's decent. It seemed like a pretty decent game, so I'll put it in B. It seemed okay, not much of an improvement compared to the first 2000 Spider-Man game, but overall, still looks fun, and it's a decent movie game, I guess, so it was whatever. But yeah, moving on to Spider-Man 2 the game, which is obviously based off Tobey Maguire's second Spider-Man movie coming out back in 2004, and I am gonna always be deeply saddened that I never got to, experience this game as a kid, because this is a really fun game. This is a really enjoyable Spider-Man game. I got to play it very briefly, did a few missions, fought crime, delivered fucking pizzas, because of course.
Pizza time.
And all that shit. I was actually having a really good time with this game, and I ended up, beating like more missions than I thought I would, because it's a really enjoyable game. You can actually touch the ground, which is a major improvement compared to the first 2 games, so you can finally do that. And the web swinging, holy shit, is a massive improvement. It looks so good, and people to this day still talk about this game and talk about how the web swinging is still like amazing, and it's like about on par with the Insomniac games, and people still love it. So yeah, it's a great game, and for it coming out back in 2004, and then I played it maybe like 2 years ago, and I was actually having a good time. Like that's great. That's really good. So I guess the game still holds up. So yeah, I'll always be sad that I never got to fully experience this as a kid, but I still had a good time. I'm putting in A. It's a really enjoyable Spider-Man game, and I'll always be sad that I never got to fully experience it, but oh well. Yeah, but moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man 3 the game, which is based off Tobey Maguire's third Spider-Man movie coming out back in 2007, and I've played a few versions of this game. I've played the Wii version, the DS version, and the Xbox version, but I'll just talk about the Xbox version, which is like the more well-known version of the game. Man, what a disappointment. What a fucking disappointment. Unlike Spider-Man 2, I actually did get to experience this game when I was much younger, and I didn't even enjoy it. I still didn't enjoy it, even as a kid. I did not like this game. It was really hard for some reason. Like, I remember there was a mission where you had to fight these girls with like umbrellas or something. I don't fully remember, but there was a mission like that, and it was so lame and boring and fucking really challenging for some reason, and I didn't enjoy it at all. So I don't know. Eventually, I just gave up with this game because I didn't really enjoy it at all, and it was you know, the gameplay wise, like compared to Spider-Man 2, it's a massive downgrade. Like the web swinging isn't as impressive or engaging at all, and I don't know, it felt really rushed. The city looks very incomplete. I mean, I don't know, it looked like worse compared to Spider-Man 2. I was disappointed with this game, even as a kid, and I think I prefer the Wii version a little more. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this in C. This is a bad game, not horrifically bad, but it was bad. It was disappointing. I didn't really like it. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man Friend or Foe. Yes, a very unique Spider-Man game, I'll give it that. This time you can actually play with a friend or a sibling or something, yeah. So this is definitely a more unique Spider-Man game compared to the others, and thankfully I got to play with this. I did get to experience this game with my brother. We played it together, and it's a decent game. It's a decent fun little game. You know, the boss battles, we get to fight a bunch of unique Spider-Man villains like Green Goblin, Venom, Doc Ock, all these, you know, unique Spider-Man villains were decent, you know, decent boss battles and all that, and then you eventually get to team up with them, and, you know, there were sometimes these really cool little cutscenes where, like, I don't know, they would, you know, Spider-Man would do like a really cool special ability with one of the villains, and that would always be really satisfying. I always remember doing that, and that was really cool. Overall, it's a decent game. I mean, it's fun. Me and my brother got to play it. We had a good time. It was decent, and it was alright. It was an alright little game, so I'll put it in B. It was decent. It was alright. So yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man Web of Shadows. And man, this is a really creepy game when I played it as a kid. I got to play the majority of it. I don't think I ever got to beat the game because I don't know, I think it was maybe a little too challenging or something, but I got to play a bit of it, and it was a scary game for me as a kid. Like the symbiotes, Venom, all that shit creeped me out. I don't know, like the way Venom and the symbiotes were handled in this game, they always were sort of creepy to me. I don't know why, it's just they were kind of weird. But yeah, this is I mean, it's better than Spider-Man 3, I'll give it that. It's better than Spider-Man 3. It's a pretty solid game. It's creepy. The usage of the black suit's really cool. All the abilities and stuff of the symbiote, you know, powers and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with it, and it's really cool. Like literally a click of a button, and you can switch to red and blue Spider-Man and the black suit, which is really cool, and something that I wish Spider-Man 2 did. But whatever. It's whatever. But yeah, that was a really cool usage of the black suit. Other than that, I mean, I remember doing the Luke Cage missions most of the time. I mean, those were pretty easy and they were kind of fun. So I just remember doing most of those, like teaming up with Luke Cage and all that. But other than that, it seemed like a pretty good game. I'll put an A. I mean, it was better than Spider-Man 3. I'll give it that. It was much better than that. So yeah, a pretty creepy, really fun game with the symbiotes and all that. I mean, it was pretty good. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. And fucking hell, I love this game. I fucking love this game. I played it way too many times. I replayed it way too many fucking times, dude. Like, I adored this game. It was so much fun. The selection of Spider-Man you can play as, normal Spider-Man, 2099, Noir, Black Suit, like a great selection of Spider-Man you can play as. It was a very exciting game to play as a kid. The missions were really fun, if not challenging at times, but the missions were really cool. They were well made. The boss battles were fun. I mean, this is a great game. This is a cool ass game, and I really enjoyed it. There's literally a mission where you get to play as the Black Suit and fight Deadpool. Like, that's like, what the hell? That's so fucking cool. That's just crazy, dude. Yeah, this is a really crazy game, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a unique Spider-Man game, and I mean, I never got tired of it, dude. It's a fun Spider-Man game. The only downgrade to it is that it doesn't have a free roam to it. Like, once you beat all the missions and all the bosses and stuff, you're basically done with the game, and there's nothing else to do on it besides, you know, collect suits or whatever. But that's about it. There's nothing else really to do in the game besides replay missions and all that. But other than that, it's an amazing Spider-Man game, and I'm putting it in S. I love this game. It is awesome, and I would love to play it again. It is so much fucking fun. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Spider-Man Edge of Time, which I guess is kind of like the sequel or prequel to Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. I don't like it as much as Shattered Dimensions. I didn't really enjoy it as much as that game. But it's good. I mean, it's dark, like especially with the death of Spider-Man and with what they do with Anti-Venom and all that, like all that shit. Like it's not afraid to get pretty dark, which is pretty cool. And they do get the voice actors of the voice actor of Spectacular Spider-Man and the voice actor from the 90s animated Spider-Man show to, you know, be in this game together. That's really cool. I really enjoyed that. That was fucking awesome. I don't like it as much as Shattered Dimensions. It's also a really hard game as well. There are some challenging parts in the game, which I don't know, maybe that's why they kind of took away the fun of it compared to like Shattered Dimensions. Like that was a fun ass game. The Edge of Time is a much more challenging game, but it's good. I mean, it's got balls. It's dark and it's got a cool like final battle with the creepy looking Dr. Octopus anti-venom at the end, which me and my brother had a good time doing, and it's good. I'll put an A. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's not Shattered Dimensions, but it's solid. It's pretty solid. So yeah, moving on to the next game, which is The Amazing Spider-Man game, based off Andrew Garfield's first Spider-Man movie coming out back in 2012. And I know there are people who do not like the Amazing Spider-Man movie games, but I fucking loved this first game. Like, I don't care what you say, I really love this first game. Like, this game to me was what Spider-Man 2 was for most of you. I mean, I fucking loved this game as a kid. I really enjoyed it. Gameplay-wise, it's maybe nothing too special. Like, the web swinging, it's kind of mid. It's kind of whatever. But other than that, fighting crime, the boss battles, all of that. I mean, the story was, you know, I don't know, nothing too special. It was nothing too memorable. It was kind of interesting how it was kind of meant to be like a continuation of the movie, which, I mean, okay, that's cool, I guess. But yeah, the story was whatever. But I don't know. I think it's just nostalgia. I think it's just nostalgia for this game. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's kind of just the nostalgia that's making me really appreciate in this game, which is why I'm going to put an S. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I love this game. I fucking really enjoyed it. I think for nostalgic reasons, I'm putting this game in S. I loved it, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is The Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, based off Andrew Garfield's second movie coming out in 2014. And this game was alright. It was okay. I know there's people that really hate this game and hate it more than the first game, but for me, I won't go as crazy with it as I was with the first game. But I'll just say it was decent. It was okay. The story was non-existent. I mean, it was all over the fucking place. There was, you had your villains from the movie, Green Goblin, Electro, whatever, but there was also Kraven and Carnage for whatever reason. I don't know. The story was fucking stupid and it was kind of weird. But gameplay-wise, I enjoyed it. As a kid, I enjoyed it. Just swinging around New York City, collecting comics from the sky or whatever, fighting crime and all that. I mean, it was decent. Gameplay-wise, it was decent. It was actually not too bad. The story was kind of ass, but the gameplay was decent. It was fun enough for me, and overall, it was a decent game. So that's how I'm just gonna put it in B. It was alright. It was okay. I'm not gonna despise it like some other people do. It's a bit of an ugly-looking game. I get that, but it was decent. I enjoyed it as a kid. It was whatever. It was alright. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is Insomniac's first Spider-Man game. And man, I fucking wish I could just go back to 1 year ago and experience this game again for the first time, because it was fucking magical. It was so magical. I love this game. It is legit the perfect Spider-Man game. It is the perfect Spider-Man game. Gameplay-wise, amazing. The web swinging, really simple, but looks amazing, and it's awesome. The combat is fun as hell, and the web gadgets was also a really unique, cool usage in this game. That was really fun, and yeah, that was really cool. The story was great. It has like legit emotion near the end with Aunt May's death and all that. Like, it has legit emotion. Like, holy shit! Like, this is like everything. The gameplay, the story, everything about this game is perfect. It is legit the perfect Spider-Man game, which is why this is going in S. This is going in S as the best Spider-Man game of them all. I'm sorry, I kind of just spoiled that, but yes, it was magical playing it for the first time. It's just the perfect Spider-Man game. I love it, and I wish I could just experience it again for the first time. It was so good. But yeah, moving on to the next game, which is my time now. Spider-Man Miles Morales. And yeah, I mean, straight off the bat, not as good as the first game. I mean, of course it was not going to top the first game. It's short as well, which I know people would have complained about that when it first came out, being a really extremely short game, but I'll admit, it's still a good game. It is still a really fun game, and the story, it's simple, it is short, but it's nice and simple, and it's got some emotion near the end. Like, it's good. It is still a good story, just not as good as the first game. Gameplay-wise, it's about the same, except now Miles has his, like, electricity powers and stuff, which was a really nice, it was really well done in this game. It was really fun, and I really enjoyed that. Other than that, though, everything else is pretty much the same. The look of New York is way more like unique, like with the snowy Christmas setting and all that. I really enjoyed that. It looked really fucking nice. So New York looked beautiful in this game. And yeah, gameplay wise, it was decent. It was fun. The look of the game was great. story was decent. Like, it's a good game. All right, I'll put an A, and I'm not gonna put an S. It wasn't a great game, but it was still good. I can't lie. It was still a good game. It was short, but I still had a really good time with it, and I enjoyed myself. I did. But yeah, moving on to the next and final game, which is Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, and I know people have put out their thoughts about this game. People really don't like it. People think it's a disappointment compared to the first game. It's rushed. It's an ugly looking game. It's not great. I love this game. Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I still really enjoy this game. I still always come back to it just to fight crime and stuff and web swing around the city, because the gameplay wise of this game, it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty damn good. Like, the web swinging, it's like the best it's ever been in any of these Spider-Man games. It is awesome, because it's like, you go so fucking fast. You can go really quick now, and I don't know. I thought it was a major improvement compared to the first like 2 games, and I love that, and I think that's what makes it worth coming back to, is just the amazing web swinging. So gameplay wise, it's pretty good, and the story, although not as memorable as the first game, it's still got some cool things in it. Like, you know, there's Venom, there's the black suit, and there's Kraven. Like, there's some cool things in the story. It just didn't feel as, I don't know, like, satisfying as the first game. I don't know. It felt a lot more forgettable, but yeah, I don't know. I agree with what most people say about this game, that it does feel very rushed. A bit of lags here and there and all that. Like, it definitely does feel like Insomniac needed more time with this game, but I still loved it. I still really enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the story, despite how it's a lot more forgettable and just not as good as the first game, but I don't know. I still love this game. I'm gonna put an S. I still love it. I mean, it's not the best Spider-Man game, but I don't know. I love this game. I still come back to it. I love it. I really enjoy it. Sorry, and you get to play as both Peter and Miles at the same time with just a click of a button. Like, that's cool. That's really nice. So yeah, I mean, I love this game. I enjoyed it still, and I still always come back to it. Sorry. And this is it. This is my tier list of every single Spider-Man video game that I have played, and I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. I'm just kind of curious on how you guys will feel about me putting, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 and S, because I know there's a lot of people who do not like that game, like people who are overly like hatred toward this game. I'm just like, come on. It's not that bad. But yeah, thank you for watching my tier list ranking of Spider-Man games. Hope you enjoyed. Maybe, you know, leave a comment down below of your thoughts on my tier list or your ranking of Spider-Man games that you have played. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah, we shall wait for Spider-Man 3 to come out. Yeah, in 2028. Yeah, it's very exciting. And it ends up being a fucking PlayStation 6 exclusive